we got a hostage situation, all right. We've got a hostage situation that involves every major Allied research scientist. But suppose we free these hostages. Then it's even worse. We've got hot spots everywhere, Colonel. This is Poland. I've got super tanks on my tail, mad tanks. I've got nukes pointed at London. And in the middle of all this, I've got a Soviet research scientist that I've got to evac. And then there's the little matter of running the Soviet army out of Poland. I hope you took care of business before you got in the car, Colonel. Because, son, you're in for one hell of a ride.
Welcome back, Commander.
Reinforcements have arrived.
If it's not completely obvious from the briefing, this is another mission with no building whatsoever. That being said, it's actually a lot of fun. I prefer it over the other Tanya mission with the islands. More or less just because, well, one, there's a little bit more flavor to this one, what with the hostages, but also the fact that you're not always loading and unloading from, transports. In a way, I feel like this is where, in terms of expansion missions, this is a good example of them kind of getting really good at storytelling within missions. Like, you got a briefing, sure, but the briefing only goes so far, and there's just a nice sequence of events at play here.
Remaining. Mission saved.
As with the mission way long ago with Stavros, we've got another civilian showing us the way to our eventual objective. Oh, and don't worry too much about the timer. You can't really save the first person regardless of what you do. Technically, there should be a way to clear out that group before you die if you were ever to accidentally trigger them, but you're better off not. You'd probably have to slow things down just to get the reaction time on everybody.
Warning, 4 minutes remaining.
Oh, oops.
Mission saved. Mission
He knew too much, is my defense. I forget if he actually does anything once you get across the bridge. Oh, and note how that soldier actually died. It looked like we shot him, or he died from a gunshot, but really it's just he's tied to a trigger. And that's why you don't shoot the barrels when you go over the bridge. It's probably also why you blow up the bridge, too. Unfortunately for me, I chose to do neither of those correctly.
Yeah, let's rock. What's up? Let's rock. Let's rock.
I mean, on the plus side, at least the AI is sending units that way.
I'm there. I'm there. Yeah, let's rock. Yes, sir. Let's rock. Chew on this. Rock. What's up? Let's rock. Yes, sir. I'm there. Let's rock. What's up? Let's rock.
Alright, this worked the first time, so it should work going the other way, right?
What's up? Rock. Yeah, let's rock. I'm there. Let's rock. I'm there. I'm there. I'm there.
The special character that the Soviets use, I don't recall if he's got like an actual name or anything. It uses, I believe it's called the General sprite or General unit in game, and it's kind of a generic one that you see that's used for Stavros and excuse me, and Volkov as well. So it's not like it's unprecedented to have seen it, but it does make it a little curious if it's supposed to be Stavros. It's probably not, but it'd be funny.
I'm there.
Oh, and, well, I wonder what happens if we were to maybe mess around with the level a little bit. Like, we've already cleared the objective, right? Oh. Can't fault a man for trying, right?
What's up? Let's rock.
It does raise an interesting question, though. Is it possible for the AI to, even if it was just accidental, is it possible for the AI to actually target that church after you've already gone through to this point in the mission?
What's up?
One would hope not, because that seems like it would not be fun whatsoever,
Chew on this.
but I'm not entirely sure.
Chew on this. Chew on this. Ta-ting. Ta-ting. I'm there. Ta-ting. Chew on this. Yeah? I'm there. Let's rock. Chew on this. I'm there.
And somehow there was a nuke in the area?
Let's rock. Yes, sir. Let's rock. What's up? I'm there.
One thing that's not entirely clear is that you're supposed to signal for reinforcements, but to do so you have to go back to the original point on the map where you got in. It's not explained, which is weird, considering everything else the game like puts in this level.
Reinforcements have arrived.
I guess it's not super obtuse, because if you started in this area, then that kind of gives you, that idea already in your head. But it's still, a little weird.
What's up? I'm there.
Oh, and strangely, one of those flamethrower towers took very little damage compared to the other one. It seems very strange. I don't quite know why there's such a difference in the two.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Waiting affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Waiting order. Report affirmative. Report acknowledged. Reporting.
Yeah, by this point, there shouldn't really be too much of an issue with completing the mission. Unless you just happen to throw away all your units.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Report affirmative. Reporting me. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Waiting order. Acknowledged. Waiting order. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
considering everything you're given, I'm a little surprised, I guess, that there isn't some, at least like a minimal amount of base building, or like a defensive, a more like thorough or extensive defensive area. Sure, there was a couple flamethrower towers, but those aren't really all that much of a challenge to break through if you're given 5 medium tanks and a nuke.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's on there? Yeah, I'm there.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative.
I'm not quite sure why I was so restrained here.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Like, in all reality, you should probably just, like, bum rush this area.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Like, I don't really know what I have to lose, basically, by, like, not sending everybody there.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
I'm there.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Now, maybe the nuke had something to do with, like, destroying a building.
Acknowledged.
Like, maybe there was, like, a barracks or something. But, well, we'll have to wait a while to see that. Or at least to see the map.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Oh, and sadly, this is one of those rare examples where, you know, the AI still has stuff strewn about on the map, so
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
thankfully, at least they did try to approach my units. Once the base was destroyed, of course.
Waiting or acknowledged.
Mission accomplished.